Hello everyone, and welcome to the channel. My name's Janos, and today I'm going to be breaking down the trailer for Book 3 of the Cartoon Network series Infinity Train, titled Cult of the Conductor. Infinity Train is, in my opinion, one of the most unique and interesting currently airing animated shows, and I'm super excited to see what they have in store for us in this next season. Before we get started, fair warning that this video will contain spoilers for the previous 2 seasons. Also, if you're new here, please consider subscribing, and if you're coming back, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Now with all that out of the way, find your weird glowing hand number, get it down to 0, and let's get started. This season will follow Grace and Simon, leaders of a group called the Apex, who believe that they should increase their numbers and stay on the train, rather than reduce them and escape. On a routine scavenging mission, the two get separated from their group, and must work together to find their way back. On the way, they meet Hazel, an optimistic young girl traveling with her gorilla companion, Tuba, who over the course of the season will show them that there may be another way to survive on the train other than their method of constantly trying to get one over on others. As the trailer opens, we get a shot of the outside world surrounding the train. We still know next to nothing about this place, but perhaps this new season will expand on the world building and give us some hints as to where the train came from in the first place. Next, we see Grace opening a door into a jungle-themed car, where she and Simon appear to be surveying the area. We see some of the local wildlife, these cute blue and purple prairie dog creatures, before fading to our first look at Tuba. Interestingly, as she walks, we can see these rocks around her briefly levitate, then turn an iridescent color. Not sure what's going on with that. She then menacingly approaches Grace and Simon, but ends up just tickling them, letting us know that she's pretty gentle at heart. We're then introduced to this season's new protagonist, Hazel, who we soon learn has an atypical number in that it isn't glowing. We really have no hints yet as to why that is, but I would assume that without the glow, the number is inactive, and thus unable to go up or down. Next, we see a concerned Hazel with Tuba behind her. Based on the rocky wall behind them and the flickering lighting, my guess is that they're huddled by a fire in a cave somewhere. We then get a shot from episode 7 of last season where Jesse leaves the train for the first time, before seeing Grace inviting Hazel to come live with them back at their hideout. As we saw in the previous season, the Apex are a bit misguided in terms of how they think the train works, both by referring to the denizens of the train as nulls and considering them less than human, and by trying to increase their numbers and stay on the train. Because she's so young, it's entirely possible that she could be swayed into wanting to stay on the train. But because she seems to have such a strong bond with Tuba, I can't imagine her sharing their views about the nulls. Inside the hideout, we actually see a bunch of characters that were previously introduced, which is a nice little detail, and they appear to all be working on something, perhaps attempting to fortify their hideout. Then we see Simon, Grace, Hazel, and Tuba dancing in what appears to be an elegant room filled with Cthulhu creatures. It's likely that this dance is related to unlocking the door for this room, and although the creatures don't appear very amused, it's clear that they must eventually do it correctly, as we can see them leaving this room in the previous scene. Something of note, however, is that while they're dancing, Hazel does not have the Apex face mark, but does when leaving the room, leading me to believe that these scenes may actually happen at different parts of the season. Next, we see the 4 of them having a snowball fight in what could very possibly be the same snow car from season 1. This next scene introduces us to a new car, and a new character, this color wheel guy. He actually appears to change colors based on where his arrow is pointing, but interestingly, although he is clearly yellow in this scene, his arrow is pointing to the red color. Not sure what's going on there, but perhaps it has something to do with the null problems that Grace talks about. We then see them in an underwater car, where Simon and Grace talk about how to get rid of Tuba, before getting another look at the first car from this trailer, where we see Tuba holding one of those iridescent rocks from before. Although it looks like she's about to throw it at Simon, I doubt that's what's happening here, as this is clearly part of the same scene where she ends up tickling them. It kinda looks like she's looking somewhere in the distance, so maybe a dangerous creature is about to attack them or something. Here we see Simon and Tuba outside the train and visibly angry with each other. I'm guessing we'll be seeing a lot of tension between them, as Tuba is clearly meant to be a guide for Hazel, much like Atticus was for Tulip and Alan Dracula was for Lake and Jesse. But since Grace and Simon are prejudiced against nulls, they're gonna keep looking for opportunities to separate them. We then see the group back at the color wheel car, where Grace remarks that 1-1 has found them. Since we know that 1-1 isn't malicious, it's unclear what the conflict is between them, except that the Apex believe he's their enemy. Next, we get a quick shot of a storm outside the train. Now, I don't believe we've seen any signs of weather being a thing in this world, so I have to assume that this is related to something happening with the train itself. We then get a look at the unfinished car from Season 1, which still appears to be unfinished. Jeez, I would have thought 1-1 would have got it all fixed by now. Interestingly, the door to the outside appears different this time, and as we see Simon and Grace fly out of it, the car looks to be higher up than the others, implying it's in the process of being moved somewhere. We then get another shot of the Apex hideout before seeing Grace and Simon being jerks and attacking the turtle people. Also, this one is using the same giant spoon weapon from the first season. Next, Tuba and Hazel get separated from Grace and Simon, and if we look behind them, we can see what appears to be the color wheel room from before. In that previous scene, Grace said that 1-1 had found them, meaning he would likely meet with Tuba and Hazel at this point. We then get a final look at the Apex hideout, then see Hazel grab Grace's hand in the elegant Cthulhu room from before. Then we see Hazel saying it helps to say goodbye while carrying the bag that we saw Tuba with earlier, perhaps meaning that something happened to her or the two had to separate for some reason. This scene could even be from the last episode where Hazel goes back home. At this point, the trailer is wrapping up, so we get a bunch of quick shots including Grace and Simon hugging, then fighting back in the unfinished car. This next scene appears to be taking place in the Flying Serpent car, which we actually got a brief look at back in episode 1 of season 2. Also, here we can see that Hazel is carrying the bag at this point. Next, we see the cat, a character that has played a role in the past 2 seasons in what looks like the same room that Grace and Simon were in. Then we see Grace and Simon firing their harpoon guns with some fire in the background before the final scene of the trailer where Tuba pulls the two into a bush that has the same iridescent color as the rocks from before. All in all, this was a pretty interesting but cryptic trailer, which seems appropriate for a series as mysterious as Infinity Train. My biggest question would have to be what is going on with Hazel's number, but I also have to wonder whether Simon, Grace, and the rest of the Apex will change their minds about wanting to stay on the train over the course of this season, as well as what the conflict is between them and 1-1. Book 3 will be coming to HBO Max on August 13th, and I'm really excited to see what it has in store for us. If you have any theories, please let me know in the comments section below, and if you enjoyed this video, please take a moment to leave a like, and subscribe if you want to see more videos similar to this. It would help out a lot and I would really appreciate it. Anyway, thank you for watching, stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you all later.